Hello,
Yes.
everyone, and we are live. Today, we are going to talk about rejection. Acha, just Nimish, can you mute yourself? Nimish, mute yourself. It's a background noise, that's all. Radha, can you mute yourself? Perfect. Okay. Today, we're going to talk about rejection. Okay. And we have here with us Usha Srinivasan Chahani. She is a counselor. Hey, Usha, how are you doing?
Yes. Hi, very well.
Okay. We are going to be talking about rejection. So I'm going to initially be asking Usha just why rejection hurts so much. And after that, Nimish and Radha are going to share their own stories of how they have been rejected. And Usha is hopefully going to tell us how to keep sane with all of that. So, Usha, uh, what's your take on rejection? Like, why does that hurt this much?
Okay, before I say why it hurts, let me tell you something very interesting. We have, psychologists, we have a book called the DSM, and we
Okay.
have the most updated version, DSM 5, which is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So everything that comes under mental disorder is in that book, all right?
Okay.
Fat book. It's like the Bible that we would use. Rejection is not mentioned in that. I
Okay.
know. All right. Because, no, it's very interesting because after we discuss the topic, I've been doing a lot more research than I normally do. One deals with rejection all the time. Of late, there has been something called rejection sensitive dysphoria, which is what is slowly being recognized as the issue. All right.
Okay.
Now, dysphoria means a state of unease, dissatisfaction, strong pain. All right. And what is very interesting is that when we talk of why is rejection so painful, anyone who's gone through rejection will say it hurts. It's like a physical pain. You know that when you do neuro imaging, when you actually image the brain cells uh, for physical pain, like you've had an accident and there's some broken whatever parts, the same parts get lit up when you study the brain for rejection. So
Okay.
it is felt like actual pain. So there is no difference in the level, the intensity, the level of pain that you find with physiological disorders. So you have a
Okay.
physical pain and emotional pain, the rejection, the pain of rejection are identical. There is absolutely no difference. So, which is why when you have rejection, it explains. Now, I think for anyone who says the pain of rejection, it is intense pain. It is intense
Okay.
pain. That's
Okay.
what it is.
How do we deal with it?
How do we deal with it? First of all, let's look at the root of rejection.
Okay.
Where does it start? Okay. All of us, see, all of us at some point or another, what is rejection? Non acceptance. Basically, simply non acceptance. It could be non acceptance because somebody says, Usha, you look better in a sari. You don't look so hot in this. I don't like the way you look. All right. Uh, or it could be somebody who says that, you're not as pretty as your sister.
Yeah.
Right. Or you're not a male child, you're a female child. So rejection starts and at every level. It can come in the form of abuse, actual physical rejection because of an emotional thing. And it's very funny I'm saying this, but I'm going to give an example, all right? Uh, Very recently, the Ambani event has been all over the place, and the groom's speech was broadcast. I got three, four different WhatsApps on it, so I actually listened to it. And I thought this was a perfect example of a boy who's not experiencing rejection with
Okay.
all the reasons, no, with all the reasons to feel rejected. If you look at it as a classic example, 3,000 reasons why you could think of him being a case of rejection. He is very confident when he talks. He says, I owe it to my parents. So it goes back to the fact that whatever his issues were, whatever his problems have been, he's never faced rejection from people. I mean, it
Yeah.
may be the money, whatever. You can think of so many reasons why he's not faced rejection, but the people he attributes it to basically the mother. So you're seeing a case where whatever the circumstances, his parents have never let him feel that he was not the same as the other children.
Yeah.
Been treated. So, I mean, I just actually this afternoon when I was looking at that video, I said this is a classic example of a child who has not faced rejection. Though any other child in those circumstances would have been bullied in school, would have been put down. Parents may have said, "You made me so embarrassed. I wish I didn't have a child like you." And
Yeah.
parents say that kind of thing, right? So you have that kind of situation. Let me go one step further and say that rejection starts in many cases. Rejection starts even at conception.
What?
Parents don't want the child at that time. Maybe the wrong time. Maybe it's not that they don't like the child, but they're financially in a mess. They don't want a child at that time, and the doctor says you can't help it, you have to have it. The mother doesn't want the child because she's not in love with the husband, or she's harassed by her in-laws. There's so many reasons. So you can take it back to, as a matter of fact, if you look at some schools of thought with counseling any kind of the problem, we say go back and look at what was the early situation, and the root is probably in rejection.
But one second, you think that as embryos we can feel that the whole idea that your mother
You
or
know
your
what?
parent.
You're in a country where, which is sort of talking about Ramayana and Mahabharata. Don't forget, Abhimanyu in his mother's womb discovered that entire scientific thing of how to go into war, but didn't know how to come out. Today,
Okay.
doctors tell you that you can actually talk music to your child, you talk maths to your child, and the child does develop a ability to. You can create geniuses like that. So
Okay.
there's no today you can talk to the embryo and right from conception the possibility exists of there is life. So there is possibility of all kinds of things being put in. So good things as well as the bad things.
Very interesting. Okay. Now let's diverge into the stories which our viewers, I mean, which Nimish and Radha are bringing us. Nimish, this time shall we start with you? Okay.
Yeah. Hi, ma'am. I'm Nimesh Advani. And so I wanted to discuss something like I have had an arranged marriage. And so, there are times when I was rejected naturally. That happens in any this thing. But there was one instance which, which has stayed with me as to I still can't figure out why this thing happened because I was I was meeting this girl and we got along decently well, but after a point, I could sense that there's, I mean, she wanted to back off, and there was basically a decision lacking from her side, and she wanted to back off, and I was okay with it, and but there were after that clarity, or after that decision from her that I think we should stop it here. Then she used to again get in touch with me after 10 days, 15 days, and then we used to again start talking. And because I was interested, I couldn't uh, I couldn't see this pattern. And like uh, first time when I got rejected, then after that it took about a week or 10 days to just get over this feeling, and this feeling of rejection. And so then I mean, when then she used to come back and talk to me again, and then again she used to ghost me. So this pattern of rejection, like as soon as I used to get over it and divert my mind, or just get move on, and then it used to come back again. So I want to understand, and this experience has stayed with me, that uh, what is the end then? I accept, then if the person is trying to connect, but then how do we?
Okay. Um, may I ask some questions?
Sure, sure, please.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the same person who's tried to come into a relationship and then walked out, come back. So it's been an
Yes,
open door policy that she's used, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Has she ever given you a reason for saying it may not work?
Not really, and I was okay with, because usually, I mean, I was okay with not getting. It's just like, we may not gel well in the future, which is a good enough reason. I don't need like a specific reason, but that was okay with me.
Okay, all right. Did you feel at any point that maybe this relationship won't work out in the future?
Uh, After the first rejection, yes, I did. But then, because I was interested, then maybe I wasn't accepting it, I think.
Okay, so you already told me what the answer is. You already said you were not willing to accept that
Okay.
she was not serious. If somebody walks in and walks out again and again, there's a very clear pattern, and the problem is not with you, the problem is with her. She
Okay.
has an indecisive mind. She
Hmm.
has issues, and so it's actually a very good thing that it's not working out because
Hmm.
even before, so at least she's saying it before you have made, I mean, sort of some kind of commitment and got into a marriage, had children, and then she says, "No, I don't think it's working out." So
Hmm.
technically, what you're telling me is that she was not sure
Hmm.
and she was trying to make up her mind. So she has a problem and she needs the counseling, not you. No, I'm being very serious when I say
Yes.
this. It sounds funny, but I'm saying seriously, you're
Yeah.
willing to say that I was willing to give it multiple chances. All right?
Yeah.
So the problem with you, not really a problem, but where you need to understand, see, when you face rejection, let me be very clear about this. When you face rejection, you have to understand that uh, rejection means that I don't like X quality. It could be that she saw something that made her feel that may not be the perfect husband for me, may not be able to earn the kind of money I want to live with, may not be able to give me the lifestyle, the comfort zone that I want. All right. So it could be a number of reasons.
Yeah.
This is not rejecting you as a person, it's rejecting what comes to the table. So
Okay.
she's not rejecting you, but she's rejecting the concept of a life together.
Okay.
Which is fair enough. You go into a company and before you join a company, you look at the pros and cons, and then you decide. See, if this was an arranged marriage, then obviously you were not decision makers at all. But this is a relationship where the two of you are engaging, so it is a decision made by the two of you. So
Right.
how do you get over it? The first thing is to start looking at yourself. See, it's very important to understand your own self worth because don't let it damage your self esteem. Do other girls talk to you and talk to you nicely? Are there other people who, I mean, you need to check out and see that, I mean, put it very crudely, there are other fish in the sea. I mean, I'm saying seriously, if you find that this is just one relationship, and obviously you had a fondness for that girl, so you were willing to give multiple chances, and that is perhaps where you needed to be a little more clear and say that draw boundaries. You can't let people cross boundaries. See, in any relationship, you have to be very clear about where somebody gets off. Nobody
Hmm.
gets the right to walk into your life, walk all over you, stomp on you, and then walk away, and then come back expecting. If she walked in and expected to be accepted as as if nothing had happened, then she has an issue that she needs to handle, and you should not make the mistake of thinking that you know that you can take care of that problem. All right, let me put it like this. Today on Women's Day, everyone's talking about empowering women and everything, and I've heard everyone talk about, I don't want to get caught up with a guy whose parents have not succeeded in bringing him up to a level. Similarly, you should not get caught up with a girl who's not grown mature enough to make rational decisions. So you need to also, so the best thing to do to handle rejection is to get a sense of your self-worth. Find a support. You have family who
Yeah.
will support you. Discuss with them. If you need a counselor, talk to a counselor. I mean, see, I cannot discuss many things here on an open
Right.
forum, but
Yeah.
you do need, then if you feel that, and you need to develop a stronger sense of self-esteem, you know,
Yeah.
and something that women have started doing now, which is loving themselves. Very important, very important to have loving yourself. Um, I mean, and then you need to sort of think of what are the areas in which you can succeed, uh, where you are successful. Actually, I tell people make a list of the things that are good about you.
Hmm.
Make a list. Look at that list. Post it in front of your laptop, which you can see every day, somewhere where you can see it, and tell yourself that I'm smart, I have great sense of humor, I'm intelligent, I'm kind, I'm compassionate. Whatever your skills are. So you know you're all of that. So look at why you think you're good husband material and be confident about it. I'm very happy we're doing this with the boy and not with the girl, because with the girl everybody would be doing male bashing, and I don't want to do that. It happens. It happens, no, when you get into
Yeah.
that. So I'm so happy. Thank you, Nimish, for coming up with this, because seriously, you need to be able to have the confidence to say, I am good husband material. If it doesn't please her,
Fair
then you
enough.
need to be able to walk out. You need to be able
Yes.
to step back and draw the line, and say that this far and no further.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, Nimesh, you have another story also, but we'll come to it up.
Yeah.
Do we do now? Radha, let's hear from you.
Uh, Hi. Hello, Usha ma'am.
I please drop the man, drop the man.
Okay. Okay. I thought like I would talk about the most painful rejection of my life, and that was professional rejection. So basically, I prepared for UPSC for around 4 or 5 years, and yeah, it did not work out. And so now I'm in a corporate job, and like earlier, I was really scared because I was like, I will never like doing anything because I didn't get to do the one thing that I worked for so many years. But luckily, I found comedy and I love that. So I'm very grateful that I did find something that I aspire to make my career in. But
Mm.
I am still unable to really process that first pain of rejection by the government of India, like for whatever purposes. And like I haven't been able to see the movie 12th fail because I know that I don't want to get unnecessarily triggered. Like, I might stay up all night thinking about what I could have done better, or how I could have the mistakes I could have avoided, basically. So, like, is and I just sometimes wonder, is there something wrong with me that, like, I went from one high risk high reward thing to another high risk high reward thing? Like, I could just be like a normal corporate person ki theek hai, I'll work hard at my job, I'll become a CEO someday, but somehow that never, like, I do the bare minimum at my job so that I can pay the rent and everything, which is killing my growth in the company. Like, it's never going to happen because by now even my office people know where my heart is because they follow me on social media and everything. So I would love to hear your insight.
You know, UPSC exams are not the easiest to clear. I mean, I think uh, it's not today. It's been a thing. At least today, you have smart young girls like you coming forward and saying, I tried and didn't get it. When I was growing up, and I'm not talking as a counselor now, no, I'm talking to you simply on an issue that everyone has faced at some point or another. uh, the people who got in, cleared the UPSC and became IAS and even IFS officers were the most boring, and they were not even nerds. They were horrible. I mean, we knew they would become babus, and we knew they would. No, I know. There's amount of respect for them is like as good as clearing an IIT exam entrance test. It was as good as that. Okay, so that caliber has never changed. If anything, has become trickier over the years. If you look at it, the UPSC exams have just become a lot of trick questions. So there is the basic. If you finish the test, so at what level did you not clear it? So this is the question that I would ask you: at what level did you not clear? So how high did you get into it?
I wrote the mains once, but that was just once that I got to write the mains examination. And I quit, not because like I wanted to continue, but then I, like, my dad fell sick and I had to come back home. Like, I was in Delhi and I had to come back home, and then everything else. So it wasn't out of my own violation that I thought I should maybe give up. Like, I would have given all 6 attempts if I could have.
Fine. So the fact is not that you lost because you couldn't do it. Remember that there are very few people who clear it in the first go, and they have been trained for I don't know how many years before they actually sit for the exam. So this is a test. It is created in such a way that you need to make at least one or two attempts before you clear it. So this is not a reflection on your intelligence or your ability to do something, because this is not here you have to study. There was no question. If you're looking at the written papers, the quantum of material you have to study is phenomenal, and you don't know where the question will come from. I mean, it is just one of those things. Fortunately, I know, because I know people who cleared it in the first go, but then if they didn't clear it in the first go, I would assume that nobody in India would be able to clear it. They were those kind of extremely studious people. They did nothing for years, they just sat with their books. You've led a life, in spite of studying, you've led a life, you've had a full life, you've done things. So you know other things that you like. All right. And remember one thing, that if you had cleared the UPSC exams, you couldn't have joined stand up or be a done anything else. You have to be very careful. You couldn't have done anything else with your life, right? Or you'd have to retire prematurely to go ahead and enjoy. People have done that also. So I'm just saying that this is not a reflection of your personality, because you just did one attempt. So when you told me that you didn't clear it, I was wondering whether you did 4 times or
No, no,
you
I
went
did.
through
I
up
did
to
4 or 5 attempts. Four
you
attempts
did
actually. Yeah, yeah, four
four
attempts.
attempts, and you didn't clear the papers.
Yes, the mains exam.
Okay. Any particular paper that you found difficult on one particular paper?
I think it was overall. I did not study as much as smartly as I should have. Like, I know I was putting in the hours, but maybe not in the right way that I should have.
So there, you have the answer yourself. So you're really not telling me a serious problem. This is just you're saying that, uh, am I therefore unfit for life? No, you're living life beautifully. You're not. See, also look at your own temperament. Even in the corporate world, you're saying by your own admission that you're not willing to put in 100% of yourself. And because the corporate world again is I mean, tough world. And if you want to achieve, if you want to become CEO, if you want to climb the ladder fast, there are certain steps you have to take. There are certain things you have to do, which you're not willing to do, because you want to also see you have a different personality. So I mean, don't beat yourself up because your personality is different, and you don't have that personality which will go single-mindedly only for one thing. You want to enjoy many things in life, which is the way a lot of your generation is, which is fine. I think it's a great thing. So I don't think there's a problem at all. I mean, do you really feel, what do you feel?
I I feel like I have not processed that not qualifying the exam properly, simply because I don't talk about it on stage. So because I'm afraid I like cry on stage or something.
Okay.
So yeah, that's one thing.
Okay. So then let me ask you very specific questions. What was your academic performance through school and college life?
uh Mostly above average, but never like a topper. So
Okay.
like maybe like fifth, sixth in class, like parents were happy, so they never had to put any pressure. They're like, "Haan, theek hai, she'll do it."
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that,
This is good.
yeah,
This is good. So
yeah.
now, when it came to board exams, did you ever feel the pressure to top the boards, to get the highest in a particular subject?
Um, I mean, I know that I wanted to do well, because you have to do well to get in a good college. But honestly, I don't remember like topping as, I don't know. I don't think I ever had utna that I have to top. I just knew ki haan 90% se upar chahiye. Like, that was my thing.
But nowadays, getting 90% and
Yeah,
above is
it's
not
very
very
basic.
difficult, no? It's not very
Yes.
difficult, no?
No,
I mean, I'm
no.
constantly talking to adolescents doing 10th and 12th, and I'm telling them how they can beat the system. It's just
Huh.
a matter of learning how to beat the system. That's all it is.
Huh.
So, but this basically what it does tell you is that you don't have the, do you have the aptitude? Did you do an aptitude test before you decided UPSC was your career plan?
No, no, not at all. Because my dad really wanted me to do it, so somehow it was always, ki, हाँ, even I want to do it types.
So
But
you were fulfilling
somehow it
somebody
became a
else's
shared,
ambition.
yeah, it became a shared ambition. Like even I would dream of a life where, like you said, IFSQ, I'm traveling all the time. I'm talking to people who are like super important. I am taking super important policy decisions, things like that.
You're not serious enough to do that. I mean, look at yourself. I'm not being mean, but you
No,
don't
that's
have.
fine.
I don't mean it in a nasty way,
No,
but I'm just
that's
saying you don't
fine.
have that temperament. You look at IFS officers; they take
Huh.
themselves so seriously. Do you think you could do that?
I honestly never thought about it. I never thought about the personality aspect of it, to be
No. So if
honest.
you don't have the
Yeah.
personality, obviously you'll not be able to do it, na?
No.
And then would you be? Did you put in those say? If you look at all the people who talk about studying for UPSC, they're actually putting in about 13 to 14 hours of study per day. Did you do that?
Yeah, like I did work hard. I know that I did. Like it was the hardest that I've worked at anything in my life. Going to classes and then studying, taking tests on my own, and being friends with people who are actually also who I thought was serious. So we would study together, grade each other's papers, all of the drama.
So if you went for classes, what was the evaluation? Now then you look at now, what was the
Huh.
evaluation of your mentors? How did they tell you? What did they
Uh,
tell you?
I think it was again not. I guess like I uh, I would say maybe थोड़ा सा like कि हाँ ठीक है इसमें potential है but not like कि she's like 100% she's going to do it types. There was always कि हाँ you just need to work this do that ये वो. There were like obviously there were gaps in how much I could have done basically.
So also, okay, now let me ask you another question. When you went for the papers, when you came back, which were the papers you felt I have done so well, there's no way not going to get in? And which were the papers you felt that could have done better?
I felt like I did good in the general knowledge, the general studies papers, and my optional was law, which was also what I graduated in. So that I did terribly in. Like I did not give it that much time to prepare and revise and everything. So that I think that was definitely my weakest point.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to say something which is very, very politically incorrect of me to say, but
No.
you do know that there are a lot of biases in the way these papers are, the way selection is done. A lot of biases, okay? And I don't want to go into the details of it, but there is a pattern that the examiners look at in terms of the region you represent, the class you represent. You'll see sometimes suddenly there is a preference for a lot of females getting through, women getting through. Then there is a whole preference for people from a different economic strata getting through. You actually, if you do a study of that, you'll find it's a very interesting study. I don't want to waste my time doing that study, but I do know that if a study is done of how people pass these exams and which are the categories that pass these exams, there is a pattern. So, I mean, I don't know if you were not fit there, you know. So, don't look at these exams as a way to. Now, let's look at the problem. All this is assessing the exams and all is by the way. But very critically, what you need to do is to ask yourself, do you feel that you're unintelligent or that this kind of examination was not for you?
Uh, I yeah, I think maybe the latter. Like you said, maybe like I don't have the personality for it.
Yeah, and maybe like you say by on your own admission, if you're done very badly in the main core paper, your law paper, there's no way you'll get called to the next round, obviously. You know, so there is one of that. Then there is the other fact that uh, Also the expectation. See, the thing is that, remember, whether it is this exam or it is the um, uh, boards 10th and 12th, all right, or it is the entrance test, the IIT and whatever else that you do, none of these are an indicator of your intelligence. They're all an indicator of how well you mastered the system. Have you learned to crack the system? All right. So, how much time did you spend on learning to crack the system? How much time did you spend on actual serious studying? There are so many factors, none of which reflect on you as a person. So, why would you want to cry? You should laugh about it. See that I discovered that this is not for me. I mean, this is true for so many of us. I mean, Kajal has a degree in engineering. Where is that now?
Oh my
Okay,
god.
are we going there now?
I know, right?
No, no, I'm just saying you did that, but then you discovered something more exciting in your life and you've done it. Right. So the thing is that with each of us, Kajal, you made enough jokes about it yourself. Okay. I mean, I'm going based on what I've heard you talk. So I'm just saying that with all of us, how many of us actually end up doing this stuff that we, study for, that we slog our asses off for so many years, you know and then you discover that if you allow yourself to be happy, that is the most important thing when it comes to career, it comes to education. If you end up doing the things that you're happy doing, you'll find yourself more successful at it.
Okay.
You'll get success where you're happy. If you're not happy and you, okay, 3 years went, 4 years went, 6 years went, but thank God it's only those many years. You still have a long life ahead of you where you can do wonderful things. Please start cracking jokes about this, about the number of hours and the
I
number
will.
of years. No, seriously,
I am
one way
inspired
to
by
get out
this.
of it, one way to get out of that sense of I feel depressed when I think of I didn't clear these exams is how important this is. One. Second thing is, are you unhappy because you're not sitting in that position?
I I was, now I'm not, because now I have comedy and that makes me really happy. So, like
Right,
ekdam like
maybe.
inside wala happy.
And if when your inside wala happiness increases, you'll find that that aura actually reflects itself in every area of your life. Finally, you're making, you're going, you are deciding the happiness of a group of people in front of you. What you say makes them laugh. And today we all know that laughter is the best medicine. Every doctor will tell you, please go and join a laughter club. Do you know that this is the advice being given to people? Join a laughter club. Yeah, that you need, even if you are by yourself. I mean, I've seen all kinds of doctors from all places in the world, whether they're from China or from Japan or in the West, wherever they are. They're all talking about the need to, even if you sit by yourself, laugh, because when you start laughing you release those chemicals that your body requires to be in a happy, healthy place. So you're actually doing that for people, which is a way more exciting thing to do. Now I'm putting it in perspective. It's way more exciting than pushing papers that a minister dictates to you. I'm sorry, am I messing your mind?
No, 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 that's cool. Okay.
No, I mean,
Now,
I actually, rather at another time, I'd probably tell you, let's do some CBT, which is like, let's go into CBT is cognitive behavior
Okay.
therapy, which is rewiring, you're helping you rewire the way you
Okay.
think. I mean, this is for both of you, Nimish, and for you, Radha, that one of the things that really helps when you face rejection is that, see, rejection, if you learn to be very confident about yourself as a person, and your rejection has not come from interpersonal relationships but situational, all right. If, for example, you could be part of a corporate company, and at the end of 1 year they may say, you know what, we don't think you're a match. This does not reflect anything upon you at all. It doesn't mean that you're fit for nothing. It means that we have different goals. You don't have the same goals. We can't walk together. That's all it means. So if you understand that, you don't have a problem. But if, supposing, say, it would be really bad if your father said, I don't want to see your face again because you didn't do UPSC. That's not happened, right? So then, so there's no parental unhappiness. There is nobody who's holding that up to you and saying that you're a failure. So you're not a failure. So don't beat yourself up into thinking that you're a failure. Not for these exams.
Okay,
Don't
let's
think
quickly
you're
have
sorry.
let's quickly roll over to Nivesh's next story.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to work in the television industry before, and like it was my first job, and like in the first couple of months, I was working on this show which was hosted by Salman Khan. Okay, and so we were like a big team, about 10, 12 people, and obviously, like as a junior most, I used to do a lot of running around, a lot of work, and then one day. It so happened that Salman Khan called everyone to his place in the team to for a party, and my boss, she decided that me and like a couple of others will not go, and everyone else will go. So at that point, as a like a 21, 20 who is just 22-year-old who's just started his new job, and uh, the glamour of television, I felt heartbroken. Like I was in tears. Okay, honestly, like today if you tell me to go to Salman Khan's house, then I'll be in tears, but that time I was but
No,
that
I
time
understand.
I was like, yeah, and yeah, I was feeling really bad. And like the two other people who were with me, who were not who were told not to come, they also felt bad, but they took it in their stride, but I couldn't. And and that
So did you
became a
quit the
pattern.
job? Did you quit the job because of that?
Yeah, no, not because of that, not at all, no, no.
Hmm.
Yeah, so but this became a pattern in the team, that like others were given a lot more scope to make mistakes, and and I was pulled up for the smallest of things. So this is the kind, like there were a lot of rejections like that, that really made me feel bad at that point in time, and it like those experiences still stay with me.
So experiences don't go away. They leave a mark on your
Yeah,
body. All right, in your
yeah,
mind, in your heart, you feel it.
yeah.
The question that I will begin by asking you is, why did this lady say that you all should not go?
Actually, we were there. This was a production house where 4, 5 shows were going on at the same time, and we the show that we were working on was on hold for some time, and that is why we were shifted on this show. But we were doing equal amount of work. In fact, like a lot of work we were doing for the show that we were, which was hosted by Salman Khan, and we were like actually like a like a good part of the team. But I don't know, for some reason she felt that maybe he, just because he's called the whole team, maybe we should not take too many people, or maybe I'm just assuming. We never questioned her. We never questioned her that why didn't you take us, because that was also something we I felt that I shouldn't be asking.
And did she continue to find fault with you at different times?
Yes, yes, yes,
Then she had a problem with you as a person.
yeah.
She had, maybe you triggered something in her. Maybe you reminded her of somebody she doesn't like. And just think about it. No, it happens to a lot of us.
Because
That
I
we
was
remember.
hardly like I sorry. Yeah, please continue.
No,
I
no,
was
no, no.
hardly on. Yeah, I was on that team for a month or so. Then the show that I was working on, that came back on track, and then I was shifted back. But my point was that I am putting like an equally good amount of effort, even on a show which I was not initially hired for. Then why? And I'm being asked to do like work as a team member, then why am I not treated like a team member then?
That is the injustice. Life doesn't promise to be fair and just to you. See, get some fundas very clear that
Hmm.
life does not promise a fair deal at all times. It
Yeah.
does not promise that everybody will be just.
Hmm.
That lady could have had issues in her life, and maybe you reminded her of somebody she doesn't like. So she's like, I don't want to. We've all faced that. I've faced that.
Okay.
That you remind somebody of somebody they don't like, and so you get kicked in the butt for that. All right. So So it is a bad experience. So you should put it down to a bad experience, but
Hmm.
not rejection. It's like in school, okay? The children in the class are having a party. Everyone's invited but you.
Hmm.
It happens for whatever reason. Maybe the mother doesn't like your face, or the group of friends, they're a close knit group. You're not part of that group. And that whole culture of everyone in the class has to be invited doesn't exist. So you're not invited. You may feel left out because the others come back and they talk very openly about it, and you're
Yeah.
not part of that thing.
Yeah.
So these things happen, right? Don't make everything into rejection. Rejection means non acceptance, and non acceptance is okay. What I talk about is the where it becomes a problem is that if it relates to emotional dysregulation, right? Which means that every time you face that experience, instead of saying, okay, they don't like me, for whatever reason. Maybe I wore a color she didn't like. And the reason for rejection can be from something as silly as wearing a color that the person doesn't like,
Okay.
to speaking in a manner that makes her feel stupid. To I mean, it could be any number of reasons. All right. So you don't have to attribute it to your personality. So you have to take care of your self-esteem and say, am I good at my work?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right amount of work? And remember, when it's your first job, you put in 200%, not 100%, you put in
Hmm.
200%, especially in this industry. You don't
Hmm.
get opportunities if you're not seen as a person who puts in 150 and 200% on the job.
Right. Right.
And initially, you may get kicked around and not get any rewards at all for the effort you put in. Somewhere down the line, the whole story changes when
Hmm.
somebody recognizes the amount of effort you're putting in. If you never came in front of Salman Khan regularly, maybe you wouldn't even notice your absence. Okay, he's
Yeah.
like, but you guys have come, khana khilao, daru pilao, and party is over. Biryani khilao, daru pilao, and party is over. So he was fulfilling something that is expected of him as a host of that show.
Host. Yeah. Hmm.
That was all. He was not
Hmm.
bothered individually
Yeah.
about people, saying these people all must be there or something. He said, Bulalo. And so maybe the production house decided that only so many people will go. So who do you keep
Hmm.
back?
Hmm.
You just fell into that list. It's just unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So
Hmm.
don't take it personally. Don't make and that is when the problem happens, when you
Hmm.
start taking everything personally, and in
Hmm.
your mind, then you start getting scared to take up opportunities
Yeah.
because you're scared. And so your mind has started thinking, the brain has started relating everything to a negative experience.
Yes.
So as long as you don't fall into that track, rejection is fine. It's
Okay.
just acceptance and non-acceptance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, simple, as
Thank you.
simple as that.
Okay.
Okay, this has been a great session.
So
Like,
Kajol, I'll have to push. I'll have. Can I?
we're all pushing. We're all pushing.
Okay. Sorry.
We
Sorry.
Okay.
all, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. All
Sorry.
good.
Sorry.
And let's do this again sometime. We're gonna have another session. But for today, good night, people. Thank you
Thank you,
so
Good
much,
night.
Kajol.
Usha.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank
Usha.
you so
you.
much. Thank you.
You're most
Thank
welcome.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.